The last time the budget was in surplus, Peter Costello was Treasurer, Twilight reigned supreme, and Flow Rider was getting low. Fast forward 15 years and we're back in black to the tune of $4 billion, even if it is for 1 year only.
In dollar terms, it will show the biggest budget turnaround on record.
The opposition, astonished and amazed.
Drover's dog could deliver a budget surplus this year.
Anybody could deliver a surplus except for the Liberals in office.
The real MVP, according to Matt Canavan, coal. The senator channeling the ghost of Prime Minister's past.
This is coal. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. It's coal.
As he took his lovely lump on tour.
You brought in some coal?
I've got the budget surplus right here in my hand.
This is your surplus?
This is it. This is it right here.
A big piece of coal from central Queensland.
It is all on the back of the coal industry.
A fifth of the upward revision to revenue comes from higher commodity prices. Twice that comes from a much stronger labour market and the fact that after a decade of wage stagnation, we're seeing the welcome beginnings of wages growth.
In true budget tradition, there were cool photo ops.
Big day.
Yeah.
Looking forward to releasing this.
And too many leaks to count. Among them, $500 energy rebates for 5 million households, cheaper childcare for 1.2 million families, a boost for single parents, pay rises for aged care workers, funding for a national anti-corruption commission, and increased taxes on tobacco and gas set to boost the bottom line by billions.
When you take the hundreds and thousands off the top of this budget, it's the same cake that we've been served up for the last decade.
We don't want to see a budget that divides between those who get a handout and those who pay for it.
The question now, with so much already announced, will there be any goodies left to unwrap on fiscal Christmas, or just a big old lump of you-know-what?
The Guardian's Amy Remeikis will be combing the budget for goodies and lumps of coal and joins us now. Amy, let's start with that nice juicy surplus. It's quite the feat after 15 years, but does the glory belong to the government or Canavan's big lump of coal?
I think the glory probably belongs to Treasury for underestimating commodity prices by so much in the last budget that they've been pleasantly surprised, which is a nice little budgetary trick where you just go, oh my goodness, look at this giant pot of money we didn't know that we had. We have a surplus. But, of course, it is only forecast. Whether we actually do have a surplus or not will not be revealed until the next budget, when is the only time you get the real numbers about what the last year looked like.
Now, are coal-related props generally a big vote winner?
I feel like we all needed a bit of a trigger warning when they came out with those lumps of coal to see Scott Morrison going, this is coal, do not be afraid of it. I'm not sure if they're a vote winner. I'd say that the last election showed that most Australians are thinking that we do need to transition to renewable energy projects, and the government is thinking along the same lines, although they're still not working to demonise gas, which is why we're not seeing too much of a tax haul on the gas industry. That's been quite modest. We'll only be getting about $2.6 billion extra from that industry, despite the super profits they've been getting.
So the government celebrating? Like, I want to see some Back in Black merch from Jim Chalmers.
Again, I think that's another trigger warning, because I think the only person who'd be holding on to their Back in Black mug today is Josh Frydenberg, as he cries into it, watching the budget coverage as Jim Chalmers announces what he never could, which is a forecast surplus. But whether or not it's something to celebrate, I think really depends on where you are at the moment, because it's kind of hard to stomach a government keeping some money aside when so many people are struggling in a cost of living crisis. A surplus is just money that the government's not spending on public services and the public. So I think there's going to be mixed reactions to this one.
Well, there was $14.6 billion in the cost of living package. And then the question becomes, however necessary you think that might be, is that inflationary? The government says it isn't. Can you give cost of living relief without driving inflation?
Well, you can, and they're doing it by not doing cash handouts. So I don't think anyone should expect a cheque in the mail. The cost of living relief is most likely going to be supplier targeted. So when you get your energy relief, it's going to come directly off your energy bills rather than coming in a cheque in the mail for you to pay your energy bill. And when we talk about raising things like job seeker and youth allowance and that sort of thing, the rates are so low, it's not actually that inflationary, because we're talking about people who make under $18,000 a a year. They'll be spending any extra on things like food, which is not exactly going to add to the giant inflation problem. They're not running out and buying brand new handbags and cars and couches. They're trying to pay their heating bills and buying groceries.
This budget year has been like all the others in that we get told about almost everything that's in the budget before it arrives. There's a lot of very selective leaks announced. Could you just explain to us why they do that, and also whether you think there are any surprises left for us tonight?
I think there absolutely will be surprises, which is why I think they wanted to get all of those stories out early, because the earlier that you get them out, the more coverage you get, which means that people actually pay attention to that sort of thing. And they don't pay attention to it if you're too busy talking about all of those hidden surprises in the budget. So that tends to be everybody's plan when they're handing out budgets. Get all the things you want attention for out early, so then you can just deal with what comes out once journalists get those books.
All right, Amy, thanks so much for your time tonight. Appreciate it.
Thanks.